Hello, everybody. I'm Reynaldo Diaz. I am Sales Account Manager at OVHcloud. Welcome to this session. I am really pleased to have David from Shift Technology in this session. And we are going to explain how Shift Technology, with the AI, became a leader in the InsurTech. Hello, David. How are you?
Hello, Reynaldo. Thanks for having me. And I'm also really glad to be here. My name is David Jorleman. I'm a co-founder and CTO at Shift Technology.
And I have the great pleasure to have you as a customer. It's been, I would say, 3 years now. We are collaborating, and it's been always a pleasure. Could you, David, tell us a few words about what is Shift Technology?
So we founded Shift Technology back in 2014 with two of my friends, Eric Thibony and Jeremy Jawij. We wanted to provide the market with a software as a service solution for insurance fraud detection. So we started to work on that, and we signed our first build in 2014 with our first client. And delivered that build on OVHcloud. We converted it to run in 2015, and our growth started from there. 6 years later, that is today, we offer multiple products to our customers, including fraud detection, as when we started, but also claim automation across more than 7 insurance lines of business. We have raised more than $100 million in multiple funding rounds and have grown to about 350 employees today. But just like back in 2014, our ambition remains to be the independent global software as a service leader in transforming the insurance industry.
I have a question for you. So you are telling that you found it with friends. How the idea to work on this industry has started? One day you have woken up and you say, "Hey, let's do that," or the idea come to your mind and your friends?
So it's a story here about being in the right place at the right time. In fact, my friends Eric and Jeremy were studying together at École Polytechnique, and they had the opportunity to do an internship at one of the big insurance companies on this specific topic. And during this internship, their role was to evaluate the set of possible solutions for insurance fraud detection that were available on the market and see if, as interns, they were able to compete with those solutions. They found both that they were able to compete and that the existing solutions were very expensive. And so it was then easy to realize that there was an opportunity to do something big there.
So when you have started with your friends, what were the challenges you had to tackle at the time?
So indeed, as you mentioned, it was a big challenge that was waiting in front of us. Of course, the business challenge in itself is already hard and technical, which is to deliver the best possible fraud detection results to our customers so that they can get the best results and savings and return over their investment. But on top of that, we have to sell that solution and deliver it. Selling is already quite hard, especially when you are a small company like we were before at the time. It's still hard today, but it was even harder back then. You have to convince your customers that you're able to deliver what you're promising. You have to convince that you can really safeguard the privacy and security of the data that you're processing, and that your customers can trust you. Again, back when we started, 2014, actually, even maybe late 2013, it was very close to the revelations of Edward Snowden, who shown to the world that, especially in the US, it was quite easy to get data leaked to entities that you might not want to see your data. And that was quite a revelation for our customers, especially French insurance companies at the time. And so we were targeting worried French customers who were not a fan of sending their data to the US. So that was another big challenge.
And what are the other challenges? I guess that so we are talking about fraud, we are talking about claims, maybe massive data that you have to process.
Yes, definitely. So that's another of the technical challenges. We regularly process massive amounts of data. Our customers want all of their claims analyzed, of course. Some of our customers, especially in the health insurance business, they get billions of claims per year. And we need to give them fast results to be relevant, often in real time. Again, in the health insurance business, refunds are often automated. That's when you use your carte vitale in France. And so we need to answer within a second for each of these claims. So our software, but also our hardware, needs to be optimized to handle this amount of data. On top of that, we need, as many small tech companies or growing tech companies, we wanted to remain agile, being able to adapt rapidly to new requirements or the changing environment or things we learned. We wanted to be competitive in terms of pricing. And especially since the very beginning, we made always the choice to remain provider agnostic and location agnostic because we wanted to be global from the start. We wanted to deliver our solution worldwide and not remain tied to one specific location. The only way to do so, even as the cloud industry has grown today, is to remain provider agnostic so you can deliver anywhere in the world. And finally, that has come maybe a bit later than our funding, but very, very quickly as well. We saw the need to prepare ourselves to scale from 1 to 10 to 1,000 customers and be able to continue operating in the same efficient way, managing costs, managing time spent, maintaining the solution, the hardware it runs on, and automating as much as possible the work that we do.
Yeah. Then David, if I remember, your solution is called Force. Could you just explain us what Force is about?
So as you can see on the screen, Force works in 5 steps. The first one being to receive and map all the data that our customers send us, whether it is the structured data I mentioned about claims and policy, or media files like invoices, pictures, or the externally added data from third parties like police reports, loss adjuster reports, as well as the internal software generated data like the workflow of the claims. All of this data gets mapped by our solution into our proprietary data model, which represents and models all the relevant data pieces for the entire insurance domain. And that data is then pre-processed to make it as useful as possible. We do a number of things. We merge entities together when they are the same. It's not easy to figure out if 2 entities are the same, so we have complicated algorithms that will find people who show up in different places, but sometimes with different data, whether it is with spelling mistakes or some fields that are different, but others that are common. It's critical to have the best possible quality of entity reconstruction in this sense. We also detect people who are connected with each other, whether they know each other, they work together, they have been involved in a claim together. All of this information is very useful to detect organized fraud networks. And we extract structured data from media documents like pictures, text, free text, to highlight the most sensible pieces of information in the claim. All of this data is then enriched through a number of data sources that we have accumulated over the years into our solution, and that are very useful to detect fraud. So they can be third-party or government records about the parties involved in the claim. They can be social data. They can be web data, like companies' information that can be found in the web. They can be pictures that were taken, for example, like Google Maps. You can easily see pictures of roofs. That's useful to compare with the assessment of housing claim. Or you can use weather data as well to enrich our weather claims detection. Once you have all of this data, the actual detection algorithm runs. We have designed a number of scenarios that can represent fraud, and our model is able to detect all of these and assign probability of each claim to be linked to a type of fraud. It's important to link to a type of fraud because it gives an explanation of what is exactly happening. You can't just say it's fraud. You need to say it's fraud because this person lied about this or about that or about that other thing, so that then a human person can check if that was indeed the case, a lie, and if that's worth not refunding a claim, for example. So our model is able to project not only a probability, but an explanation, which is what makes Shift different from other providers. Finally, once fraud errors have been highlighted, they are shown to the claims handling users in user interface, where they can see exactly why does the model suspect this claim, what needs to be done as a response. And of course, then users can give feedback by qualifying the alert. That's what we call, saying it was relevant, it was not relevant. If it was relevant, what did the investigation lead to? Did it lead to a closing with savings or without saving? And all of that feeds back into the model to learn and reinforce its learning over time. This solution provides a 75% rate of alerts proven to be relevant, which is an order of magnitude higher than our competitors.
So as far as I know, today Force is working at OVHcloud. Could you tell us why you have chosen OVHcloud and why have you chosen the HPC solutions at OVHcloud?
Sure. So as I mentioned, we started working with OVHcloud with our first customer. And we chose the high performance computing dedicated cloud solution because it has many great features. And the first one being that we get physical hardware dedicated to us that is highly performant with a large number of cores and even larger RAM size, which is very useful for some of the algorithms that we run. It is served by a great and industry standard virtualization solution, VMware, which we know and which also interoperates greatly with the rest of our stack. And finally, it is highly available and all of the hardware PCs are redundant. That was also a very important thing for us, as our solution needs to remain available at all times.
And as I understand, you have chosen our solution because it's a certified solution too, and maybe other reason too. Could you tell us about the certification? Why is that important for you?
Sure. So as I mentioned, as part of our challenges, one is convincing our customers that we will guarantee the security and privacy of their data. This is not something that we could build in a day, especially as a young company, and we needed to build on the shoulders of giants for this. And in that respect, the fact that OVH had already achieved when we started industry standard certifications such as ISO 27001 and SOC 2, which are really the world recognized standards for security, was a super great differentiator for us. Over time, also, we saw that OVHcloud continued to add to this list of certifications. Recently, there was a healthcare specific regulation for healthcare data in France, and the accompanying certification. OVHcloud was one of the first companies to get certified and allow us to continue operate and process healthcare data. And also, OVHcloud was one of the first companies to build a big private dedicated cloud data center in France, which was an important asset when discussing data location with our French, for example, customers, but not only, most of our European customers.
What amazed me is that not only you have proven on those 6 years your ability to deliver technical solutions, but compliant technical solutions, and not only on the hardware part, on the infrastructure part brought by OVHcloud, but you are yourself Chief Technology certified, ISO 2007-01, and on HDS, if I'm right, and SOC 2. So, and only in few years you have started with a little company, and after 6 years you have all that certification. I'm not sure we have a lot of companies that can tell the same. So I wanted to highlight the amazing work that have been done by Chief Technology and on the way to be certified and to be compliant for their customers. That's really amazing.
As you said, we did this because it's very important. It's a major factor also for us. This is something that we can do now that we have a larger team because it's a big investment. But we couldn't do it at the beginning, and it was important for us to have strong partners. And even today, it's still a symbiotic relationship. You host the data, we process it. We both need to be highly secure and show it. It's important that we are both certified. We are very proud, of course, of obtaining also these certifications and bringing to our customers double the confidence.
Having your infrastructure at OVH, what are the key benefits you have obtained having it at OVHcloud?
Yeah, so on top of these confidence building certifications, there were a large number of other benefits. Of course, the business model where you pay as you use to the month or even to the hour was very attractive and still is for us. When you don't have a lot of money or not yet a well-funded company, it's important to be able to start to build small. And I can tell you, we had discussions with other hosting providers where the entry ticket was more than 100K and just didn't make any sense for us. But also now still it's very important that when we are ourselves providing a pay-as-you-use model to our customers, we can reflect that in the way we use the resources that we need to deliver our solution. We also benefited a lot from the technical stack that comes with the cloud, including protection from anti-DDoS that has allowed us to continue to operate without worrying too much about this kind of attack that is spreading more and more over the internet, and easy to deploy and fast to deploy resources. So when we ask for a new resource, we can automatically get it deployed, and we can very quickly as well. We have automated the deployment of our own resources on top of that. Moreover, the VMware model allows us to share between our different workloads, which we ourselves dedicate to our customers. So we don't share data or resources among different customers. Each one has their resources dedicated. But overall, we have a physical machine that itself does the job of allocating the workload to the least used physical resource and allows to share the resource to avoid overcommitting capacity and overpaying for what we wouldn't need. We have had always a great experience with OVH support, whether it is us contacting OVH. We've always had a quick and fast response and useful and good tracking of the problem. But also OVH has often contacted us proactively, found out problems that were happening or warned us about some risks on our infrastructure and helped us resolve that. With VMware and the solution that OVH provides, the technologies that we use are very standard and interoperable. This means that we can easily find software or scripts that have been built by someone else to use for our own administration of the systems. And we can easily interoperate with our other data centers. So that's a very important factor too. Finally, OVH provides a wide range of different types of hardware optimized for compute or for memory or for storage, as well as different types of storage themselves. This has always allowed us to optimize our total usage for the type of workload that we do, and depending on the case, on price or performance.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. So then having all those benefits, what is the outcome? I would say the great outcome, because today you are doing really well at Shift Technology. And could you tell us a few words about how you are spreading all around the world?
Yeah, so again, I think I started describing the challenge was convincing customers who are very sensitive about their data, who are very big, not used to working with small companies, convincing them to work with us. And it was a hard challenge, still is, but we have been very successful at it, thanks in part to OVHcloud. Today, the results you can see on your screen is close to 100 customers in more than 25 countries, including some of the biggest logos in the insurance industry. And so that is a great success, and that we could only obtain by building not just a great solution, but trust that we could deliver it, we could secure it with great partners.
So, what could be the conclusion of our sessions? What would you recommend to all the people, and would you say to all people that are watching our session today?
Yeah, I would say overall, we've had a great strategic partnership with OVHcloud over 6 years. And I would recommend it as the perfect partner for a startup that is starting in the software as a service and wants to seduce big customers. It's easy to deploy. We have great service, great support. We can scale with this provider. It's not just a provider that can work with small companies. It can grow with you. And finally, it's true that being a European provider first, it's very important. And finally, as a European pure player, OVH can bring to our European customers the guarantees they need, and it's a great provider to have as part of your providers to be able to reach the European market.
We are reaching the end of this session. Thank you very much, David, for this very interesting conversation.
Thanks for having me. I was glad to be there, and I'm looking forward to this Q&A session.
So people that are connected, if you have any question, please connect to the chat and ask on the chat. We will happily answer your questions.